Good morning, all. It's almost not morning. It's almost noon, but welcome everybody. Today we're gonna keep on reading the Holy Bible, and we're on to chapter, or not chapter, but the book of Daniel, which is 16 pages long. So let's read. Number one. So we before I start, we read Ezekiel. That was something. Ezekiel had to witness an entire country being destroyed, but he also is hearing the word of the Lord that it will be brought back up. So yeah, folks, that is that. And all the laws and the statutes too. So here we go. Daniel. Oh, by the way, I discovered a summary thing. Right after the revelation, you can also see that there's a summary pages. Okay, name Ezekiel for the prophet who wrote it. His name means the one whom God will strengthen. When written around 550 BC to the Jewish people who were in captivity in Babylon. Author Ezekiel, a Zadokite priest. Type of book. You could call this either a sermon or a prophecy. It includes visions. In a nutshell, Ezekiel describes God and foretells God's judgment and deliverance. Place in the Bible, fourth book of a major prophet in the Old Testament. So there's four prophets already. There was Moses, there was Samuel, there was Jeremiah, and there's Ezekiel. Now, I'll read to you the summary off of Daniel, off of this book. Name Daniel, the main character and the writer. When written around 550 BC, when the Jewish people were being held captive in Babylonia. Author Daniel, a young Jew who grew to a leadership position in a foreign land while his people were held in exile there. Type of book, a historical account with prophetic passages. In a nutshell, Daniel tells his own experiences as an exile as well as his visions of the future. Claim to fame, the story of Daniel in the lion's den and his friends in the fiery furnace. Place in the Bible, fifth book of a major prophet in the Old Testament. So Daniel is the fifth prophet. Again, we have the first Moses, we have the second Samuel, we have the third Jeremiah, and the fourth Ezekiel. So, bro, lots of channels are doing Bible streams. This is a trend now. Metro, God bless you. Welcome in. Thanks be to the Lord Almighty. That's why a lot of people are starting to do Bible streams, because it was the Holy Spirit going into every one of them and possessing them and allowing all of us to join in and to promote the word of the Lord. And that's the will of God at play. So hallelujah for the will of the Lord. So yeah, do you know why Adam is not streaming anymore? No, I don't know. Well, he probably has work in his plate. You know what? I'll just type in I'll just type in a message on Discord. I have Unless I was told, I would not know if he would stop streaming altogether. He probably will stream, but it's not going to be as often. Yeah, it's probably work based. We miss you. Uh, okay, I just typed it on Discord. Ever since the real Metroid band Adam stopped streaming, hmm, go figure. No, in all seriousness, I just think that he has a lot of work. He's probably got to go to those Winnipeg Blue Bombers games and tend to duties there, or people call him every so often and he has to go to and fro. But yeah, today marks 1 week since Adam stopped streaming, or since Adam last streamed. Maybe he comes back today, I don't know. But who knows? Who knows when the world happens? Imagine doing a gaming stream, but you're streaming Go Fish playing cards. Huh. In that case, it would be more of a. Um, you see, when I think of gaming, I think of Call of Duty or Black Ops, like the games that you mention every so often. Uh, Fortnite, um, even NHL, whatever. Really, any game that you play on the PS5 or any console or on the PC. Go Fish playing cards. That's would that be classified as like family? Uh, family. I have to take a look at the YouTube categories, but I guess that would fall into family or something, or tic-tac-toe, because you don't have a console. Who knows? Maybe they find it a lot more interesting, a lot more entertaining. Who am I to judge? Who am I to judge? Let's look at the YouTube video categories. Okay, let's see. Audios, vehicles, comedy, education, entertainment, film and animation, gaming, how to and style. I'll get out here. Music, news and politics, nonprofits and activism, people and blogs, um, pets and animals. What else? Sports, travel and events, gaming, uh, entertainment, of course, how to. I guess it would be considered how to and style, education, entertainment, or who knows, maybe sports, because they consider it a sport. Science and technology, not, yeah, I don't know, man. It could be any category, I guess. What else? What else do you got? Well, come up here. All right, guys. Here is a gaming stream. We will be playing Monopoly, the board game. And the next stream, we will be playing Battleship. I remember Monopoly and I remember Battleship. Those were actually games that I played in fifth grade. Believe it or not, I think we had a music class in fifth grade. Sometimes they would rotate us into different places, and we would either go to the computer lab and play games, or to uh, they call it content mastery. But in that room, you would just knit or craft stuff out of cardboard or plastic bottles or whatever, or yarn. You would knit stuff. And then in the music room, you would just play Battleship or Yahtzee or whatever. Those were fun times indeed. Although I would say that my character was not fully developed as it is. Well, in comparison to how developed I am now. But somewhere around here, I have a set of cards. I have two packs of cards, bicycle cards. That's their brand. Oh, the mail just came. Yeah, we got USPS as our mail provider. United States Postal Service, as it is called. Well, well, darn. You know what I don't like about YouTube? There's not a Bible study category or Bible or even religious. There's nothing like that on YouTube. I guess the closest would be nonprofits and activism, but I don't really think that conveys the message of the Lord very well. I don't know, that's just me. But yeah, there's that. Okay. All right, folks. Without further ado, oh, 13, 14 minutes already, and I haven't even started. Sorry. All right, here's Daniel, um, the personal history of Daniel, chapter 1. In the third year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem, and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning and knowledge and understanding signs, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them of daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. Now these, now among these were of the children of Judah Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names, for he gave unto Daniel the name of Belteshazzar, and to Hananiah of Shadrach, and to Mishael of Meshach, and to Azariah of Abednego, or Nago, however you pronounce it. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with a portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine that which he drank. Therefore, he requested the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sort? Then shall he make me endanger my head to the king. Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Oh yeah, I forgot about pulse. I learned that in Arthur. There was pulse back in those times. Then let our countenances be looked upon before thee, and the countenances of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat, and as thou seest, deal with thy servants. So he consented to them in this matter, and proved them 10 days. And at the end of the 10 days, their countenances appeared fairer and fatter in flesh than all the children which did eat the portion of the king's meat. Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and the wine that they should drink, and gave them pulse. As for these 4 children, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Now, at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. And the king communed with them. And among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore they stood they before the king. And in all matters of wisdom and understanding that the king had inquired of them, he found them 10 times better than all the magicians and astrologers that were in all his realm. And Daniel continued even into the first year of King Cyrus. All right, folks. Chapter 1. Let's break this down, shall we? So, chapter 1, there's 4 children, pure in heart. They come from Judah. They're Daniel, keep in mind, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Uh, Keep those in mind for now in this summary, but these 4 children, though, they're all given name. However, the prince of the eunuchs, offers meat. He offers wine as well. He offers them a meal. And the prince also assigns Melzar So Daniel decides, I'm going to resist myself, and I'm not going to eat of this flesh or this wine. I'm not going to I'm going to deny myself. See, later in the New Testament, we see, uh, if anybody wants to follow me, may they take up their cross. But here, Daniel is taking up his cross. Of course, this is before the time of Jesus Christ, but he decides to challenge himself for the sake of the Lord, and he denies those things. Instead eats pulse. The rest of the children, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, eat the meat and drink the wine. And Daniel proved to be much more well fed by eating only pulse than the rest of the children. So the rest of the children eat pulse, and Daniel found out that by eating pulse, he is much more fatter. For fat is a good thing in this case. It's not a bad thing. People see fat as a negative thing. Right now, it's a positive thing in this context. But after the three children see that Daniel has only been eating pulse, they are eating pulse too. I'll be right back, folks. I have to take a quick break. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back, folks. And we're going to read chapter 2. at all. How many chapters are there? Oh, so 12 chapters. Okay, here we go. So here's chapter 2. The visions of Nebuchadnezzar and their results. And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the sorcerers and the Chaldeans for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king. So, to all of y'all who are trying to seek witches or wizards and all that, for seeking tarot cards or some sort of sorcery or something like that for your problems, read this. This section is for you. This chapter is for you. And this book's for you. And the king said unto them, I have dreamed a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me. If ye will not make known unto me the dream, with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut into pieces, and your houses shall be made a dunghill. But if you'll show the dream and the interpretation thereof, ye shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore, show me the dream thereof, and show me the dream and the interpretation thereof. They answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream, and we will show the interpretation of it. The king answered and said, I know certainly that ye would gain the time, but ye see the thing is gone from me. But if ye will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you, for ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that you can show me the interpretation thereof. The Chaldeans answered therefore the king and said, there is not a man upon the earth that can show the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, lord, no ruler that asks such things at any magician or astrologer or Chaldean. And it is a rare thing that the king requireth, and there is none other that can show it before the king except the gods, whose dwelling is not with the flesh. For this cause the king was angry and very furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. And the decree went forth that the wise men should be slain, and he sought Daniel and his fellows to be slain. So the king Nebuchadnezzar is trying to, he has a dream, and he's so desperately adamant about wanting to know what the dream is, but nobody can tell him what it is, and therefore he gets upset at everyone, and he commands the people to be killed because nobody wants to tell him what the dream. Nobody can tell him what the dream is, and that speaks volumes because there are many people who want to know what is happening, what this dream is, and they're doing rituals. They're buying cards. They're paying these sorcerers, wizards, witches, whatnot. It's a scam. Like, obviously nobody is going to be able to tell you what it truly is, and you may be believe. Okay, my thing is, if you believe in those people, why can you not believe in God? What makes you think that those sorcerers, or I'll just call it sorcerers collectively, what makes you think that those sorcerers are more worthy than God? Because I'm here to tell you, they're not. So therefore, be wise and keep in mind this next section, which is the prayer for wisdom. Then Daniel answered with counsel and wisdom to Enoch, the captain of the king's guard, which was gone forth to slay the wise men of Babylon. He answered and said to Enoch, the king's captain, why is the decree so hasty from the king? Then Enoch made the thing known to Daniel. Then Daniel went in and desired of the king that he would give him time and that he would show the king the interpretation. Then Daniel went to his house and made the thing known to Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, his companions, that they would desire mercies of the God of heaven concerning this secret, that Daniel and his fellows should not perish with the rest of the wise men of Babylon. Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, and here's the prayer, folks. Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. I thank thee and praise thee, O thou God of my fathers, who hast given me wisdom and might, and hast made known unto me now what we desired of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. For Daniel, and by the way, I'm going to uh, Daniel 20 to 23. I'm going to pin this. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's the prayer for wisdom. Therefore Daniel went in unto Arioch, whom the king had ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went and said thus unto him, destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Trust me in before the king, and I will show unto the king the interpretation. Then Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found a man of the captives of Judah that will make known unto the king the interpretation. The king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, art thou able to make known unto me the dream which I have seen, and the interpretation thereof? Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king hath demanded cannot the wise man, or the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king. But there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar that what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. As for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed. What should come to pass hereafter, and he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. O thou king, sawest thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. The image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet of iron, the part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. You got that? Are you following me? So Daniel comes before the king to reveal what he had dreamed. It was a stone. It was a stone being cut. There was um a big image, an image of a man made of gold, of silver, of brass, of iron, of clay. That image was destroyed. That stone breaks that man, becoming a great mountain which stood before all earth. We'll learn about the interpretation, but this is a callback to one of the verses, or yeah, verses in Jeremiah. Let me see if I can find the verse. to look it up. Hmm. But it emphasizes the message. Uh, Paul Jeremiah 33:3. 33:3. Here we go. Call unto me, and I will answer thee, and show thee great and mighty things which thou knowest not. So I will put this also in there. So that if you read Daniel chapter 2, you'll be, keep that in mind. The cool gaming shot present by Weston Cole. God bless you. Welcome back. It's been a long time, indeed. How's it going? Yeah, I remember you. I remember you. Yep, so Daniel made his prayer, and verse 22 of chapter 2, he revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. And that's something that's also echoed in Jeremiah chapter 33, verse 3. So they intertwine together. So, yeah. Um, and likewise in Daniel 2:28, but there is a God in heaven that revealeth secrets and maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the visions of thy head are upon thy bed are these. Yeah. So I'm going to put two verses that are very important in terms of revealing of secrets. Yeah. So keep those in mind as well. And now the interpretation. Here we go. By the way, Weston, I'm reading Daniel, the book of Daniel. I'm on chapter 2 now, so behold, if you want to join in, you can join in. You may join in, and we'll hear together. The interpretation. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art the head of this head of gold. And after thee shall rise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And a fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of iron. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, that they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. So it doesn't mention the silver in this. So it basically interprets the dream. Keep in mind, the head of gold is the greatest of all kingdoms. Silver and brass are succeedingly inferior. And then iron, uh, they will break apart. And iron and clay, the feet and the toes, the kingdom will be divided. Part of it will be strong and part of it will be weak. But then the stone represents God destroying the kingdom, setting up a kingdom that shall never be tempered with, and the kingdom will prevail forever. Okay, sorry, Weston. I joined WWE. Awesome. My Bible is different. Yeah, there's different Bibles. Uh, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Yeah, Hulk Hogan. Yeah, rest in peace. I heard about that, and yeah, sorry I restarted. No worries. No worries, folks. Okay, the promotion of Daniel. Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. The king answered unto Daniel and said, of a truth it is that your God is a God of gods and a Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal this secret. Then the king had made Daniel a great man, and gave him many great gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat in the gate of the king. So basically, after revealing this secret meaning and this interpretation, that the kingdom will progressively get weaker and weaker and will eventually be destroyed, the Lord will set up a kingdom that will not be broken. And by delivering this interpretation, Daniel is made the king of Babylon, ruler of Babylon. So, chapter 3, the pride of Nebuchadnezzar, the image of gold. The king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king set to gather together the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces. to come up to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar, the king, had set up. Then the princes, the governors and captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Then an herald cried aloud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And whoso falleth not down to worshipeth shall the same hour he be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that the king had set up. Wherefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live! Oh my goodness. I think the light went out for a moment. O king, live forever. Maybe that's a sign from God about something. Who knows? O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth it, he should be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, It is true, O Shadrach. Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye have fallen down and worshipped the image which I have made. Well, if ye worship not, ye shall be cast in the same hour into the midst of a burning fire furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fire furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Oh, yeah, yeah, folks. Is Team SOS streaming today? It's possible. I sent him a Discord. Um, he might stream. I'm not gonna hold my breath, but watch out. You might not know. You never know what he'll do. Yeah, here's another thing that Nebuchadnezzar has done bravely. First of all, he threatens all the sorcerers, wizards, and witches, and all those who he sees to reveal interpretations. And now he's threatening everybody who doesn't worship the golden image when they hear this music. He's threatening into putting them into the fiery furnace. So Nebuchadnezzar is trying to force idolatry amongst his people. Buckle your seatbelts. The harmless furnace. Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery image. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast three men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. Then he answered and said, Lo, I see four men loose, walking in midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the fourth is like the Son of God. Oh, the Lord's uh, saving those people. Lord, well, the king is confounded. He had those people cast into the fire now. They he sees four, and he sees something like the Son of God. Oh man. The convinced king. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fire furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth in the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their heads singed, neither were their coats passed or changed, nor the smell of the fire had passed on them. But then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. Well, there you go. Oh, keep in mind though, in chapter 5, um, earlier we saw that Belteshazzar is the name of Daniel. Then there's going to be, in chapter 5, spoiler alert, there's going to be another person named Belshazzar. So keep that in mind. I'm going to take a short break and I will return, folks, and read the remainder of Daniel. And I'll see if I read the entire book of Daniel. But I'm aiming to, but if it's of the Lord's will. Alrighty, folks. We are back for the next chapters. Folks, let's go. And let's read chapter 4, The King's Proclamation. Hmm. Nebuchadnezzar the king, unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that the high God hath wrought toward me. How great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders! His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. The tree vision of the king. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in mine house, and flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions in my head troubled me. Therefore made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Then came in the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers, and I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But the last, but at the last Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my God, and in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And before him I told the dream, saying, O Belteshazzar, the king, master of the magicians, because, because I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in thee, and in no secret troubleth thee. Tell me the visions of my dream that I have seen, and the interpretation thereof. Thus were the visions of mine head in my bed. I saw, and behold, a tree in the midst of the earth, and the height thereof was great. The tree grew and was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of all earth. The leaves were thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all. The beasts of the field had shadow under it, and the fowls of the heaven dwelt in the boughs thereof, or branches, and all flesh was fed of it. I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and holy one came down from heaven. He cried aloud and said thus, hew down the tree and cut off his branches, shake off his leaves, and scatter its fruit. Let the beasts get away under it, and the fowls from his branches. Nevertheless, leave the stump of his roots in the earth, even with a band of iron brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven. And let his portion be with the beasts in the grass of the earth. Let his heart be changed from man, and let a beast's heart be given unto him, and let 7 times pass over him, represents 7 days. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that I that the king, that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth over it the basest of men. This dream I, King Nebuchadnezzar, have seen. Now thou, O Belteshazzar, declare the interpretation thereof. For as much as all the wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known unto me the interpretation, but thou art able, for the spirit of the holy gods is in thee. Then Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, was astonished for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spake and said, Belteshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble thee. Belteshazzar answered and said, My lord, the dream to be to them that hate thee, the interpretation thereof to thine enemies. The tree that thou sawest, which grew and was strong, whose height reached unto the heaven, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, and upon whose branches of the fowls of the heaven had their habitation. It is thou, O king, that art grown and become strong. For thy greatness is grown, and reacheth unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. And whereas the king saw a watcher and holy one coming down from heaven, and saying, hew the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass, in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him. This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my lord the king, that they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven. And 7 times shall pass over thee till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. And whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, thy kingdom shall be sure unto thee, after that thou shalt have known that the heavens do rule. Wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto thee, and break off thy sins by righteousness, and thine iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, if it may be a lengthening of thy tranquility. Okay. So another dream. The Holy One, I believe, instructs that a tree be cut off, but the stump be left, and rain will come down from heaven and fall upon it 7 times. And Nebuchadnezzar, according to what it says, will be forced into pastures with all the animals and the predators. So, yeah, another interpretation that Nebuchadnezzar had been subject to. A little sleepy. Okay, let's roll with the next section of chapter 4. The restoration of Nebuchadnezzar. All this came upon the king Nebuchadnezzar. At the end of 12 months, he walked in the palace of the kingdom of Babylon. The king spake and said, Is not this great Babylon that I have built for the house of the kingdom of the might of my power and for the honor of my majesty? While the word was in the king's mouth, there fell a voice from heaven saying, O King Nebuchadnezzar, for to thee it is spoken, the kingdom is departed from thee. So he's cast out of the kingdom. And they shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field. They shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and 7 times shall pass over thee, until thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of heaven, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. So he will be like the cows and the horses eating grass, and then God will pick him up. The same hour was the thing fulfilled upon Nebuchadnezzar, and he was driven from men and did eat grass as oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till his hairs were grown like eagle's feathers, and his nails like birds' claws. And at the end of the days I, Nebuchadnezzar, lifted up mine eyes unto heaven, and mine understanding returned unto me, and I blessed the Most High, and I praised and honored him that liveth forever, whose dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom is from generation to generation, and all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing. And he doeth according to his will in the army of heaven, and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand or say unto them, What doest thou? At the same time my reason returned unto me, and for the glory of my kingdom mine honor and brightness returned unto me, and my counselors and my lords sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added unto me. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol and honor the King of heaven, all whose works are truth and his ways judgment, and those that walk in pride he is able to abase. Hallelujah. So after this vision, and all of it came to pass, all of them occurred, and thus Nebuchadnezzar was thrown out of the kingdom, he was set into grass, and he ate, and he became like all those animals. And then he happened to remember that the Lord was upon him, and he was saved by God, the Lord, and all his might. So the first sign was Daniel revealing the dream, first dream of the man sculpted in gold, silver, brass, iron, and clay. The second sign was him casting three of the people into a fiery furnace, which they came out alive. And then the third one was, of course, what just occurred, which came in the form of a sign by Daniel. All this set up by the Lord to save him and give give him the kingdom. And now we've got Belshazzar, not to be confused with Belteshazzar. who is Daniel, but Belshazzar, another another person, is the king. Here we go. Chapter 5: The Pride of Belshazzar and his downfall. By the way, folks, how are we doing? How are we doing, Stream Elements? How's it going? Okay, here we go. Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and dang, that's lots of lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, whiles he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. They drank wine, and praised the gods of gold, and of silver, and of brass, of iron, and wood, and of stone. The writing of the wall. At the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaister of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. The king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one against another. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about in his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Scarlet represents sin, though. Though your sins may be like scarlet, they shall be as white as sheep. Something like that. Then came in all the king's wise men. They could not read the writing nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonished. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house. And the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom, in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And in the days of thy father light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar thy father, the king, I say, thy father, made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. For as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams, and showing of hard sentences, and the solving of doubts, were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belteshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, art thou Daniel, which art of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of the Jewry? I have even heard of thee, and that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me that they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And I have heard of thee that thou canst make interpretations, and that uh, and dissolve doubts. Now, if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and shalt be the third ruler in the kingdom. So Daniel sees the writing on the wall in his kingdom, which will be revealed soon, but Daniel is going to expose the meaning, and therefore thereby he is going to tell him what it means. But Belshazzar is scared, very scared. Want to know why? Because we're about to find out what it means. Come on, folks. This is where the writing of the wall becomes a prominent phrase. The writing interpreted. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation. O thou king, the most high God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom, and majesty, and glory, and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled in fear before him, whom he slew, and whom he would he kept alive, and whom he would he set up, and whom he would he put down. But when his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride, he was disposed of his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beasts, and his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointeth over it whomsoever he will. And thou, his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart. Thou knewest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven. And they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives and thy concubines, have drunk wine in them. Thou hast praised the gods of silver and of gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, hast not hast thou not glorified. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and his this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Mene, mene, tekel, upharsim. This is the interpretation of the thing. Mene. God has numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel. Thou art weighed in balances and not found wanting. Betis. Thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with the scarlet, and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him, that he should become the third ruler in the kingdom. And that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. And Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 32 years old. What does three score mean? 60. So 60 years old was he when he took the kingdom. All right, folks, let's go. Yeah. So, Mene Tekel Upharsin and Peres. So, God has numbered your days, and your reign is over, and you are missing something in your life, and the kingdom will be split up between two, the Medes and the Persians. Darius the Median has become the king. So the writing means your reign is over, you'll be slain, you'll be killed. And yes, he was killed. So yeah, Belshazzar was a king, son of Nebuchadnezzar. He was prideful, he worshipped all of these thousands of lords. That's surprising. He saw a writing, and then he called Daniel to interpret it. And that's when he learned that he was about to die. So he was slaughtered, and he no longer reigns. All right, chapter 6, History of Daniel to the Ascension of Cyrus. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom. And over these three presidents, of whom Daniel was first, that the prison princes might give accounts unto them, and the king should have no damage. Then this Daniel was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Then said these men, We shall not find any occasion against this Daniel, except we find it against him concerning the law of his God. And said these presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents of the kingdom, the governors and the princes, the counselors and the captains, have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that whosoever shall ask the petition of any god or man for 30 days saveth thee, O king, he shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing that it be not changed according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which altereth not. Wherefore King Darius signed the writing and the decree. Now, when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went to his house, and his windows being open in the chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he did aforetime. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. When they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree, hast thou not signed the decree that every man shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, saith thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regarded not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore pleased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king, and said unto the king, know, O king, that the law of the Medes and the Persians is that no decree nor statute which the king establisheth may be changed. Okay, so they tricked the king into signing a decree that that no person shall worship any god or pray at anything for 30 days to catch Daniel off guard due to greed and stuff. Not very pleasing, but again, life is not going to be very good every time. So Daniel will be cast into the lion's den. Here we go. Daniel cast into the lion's den. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel and cast into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy God whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. So even Darius knows that the law doesn't do justice that he signed. And the stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet, and with the signet of the Lord's. The purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. So Daniel has been cast with the lions. The delivering God. Then the king went to his palace and passed the night fasting. Neither were instruments of music brought before him, and his sleep went from him. Then the king rose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God, whom thou servest continually, able to serve thee from the lions? And said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My God hath sent this angel, that and hath shut the lions' mouths, for they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Then was the king exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions, them, their children, and their wives. And the lions had the mastery of them, and brake all the bones in pieces, or ever they came at the bottom of the den. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom, that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivereth and rescueth, he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth, who hath delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and the reign of Cyrus of Persia. So, because God, Daniel, they were in touch, God went up to Daniel and said, uh, I will hush these lions that they may not harm you, but rather I will save you. And as Darius saw this, Darius was pleasantly surprised because of this. He had those people who tried to get poor Daniel into trouble, and they were chomped up by the lions. And Darius signed a decree declaring Daniel, his God, the Lord, to be upon all gods. I'll take my second break here, and I'll be right back. Oh, sorry. All right. We are back, folks, and we will continue with chapters 7, 8, and 9, I believe. But here we go. The visions of Daniel. So it recounts the numerous visions that he had in his prophecy. Chapter 7, the visions of Daniel. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream uh, and visions of his head upon his bed, that he wrote the dream. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom were there three of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, the mouth speaking again, speaking great things. It kind of reminds me of what Ezekiel saw in his first times. He saw four creatures, four cherubims, which are like little angels. And from them came the glory of the Lord. Likewise, in Ezekiel, is what happened in Daniel. Vision of the coming of the Son of Man in glory. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame. His wheels burnt as a burning fire. The fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld even till the beast was slain and his body destroyed, given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season in time. And I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory, and a kingdom that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. Okay, so 7 is a vision thing. So in the book of Daniel, we see the first description of Jesus Christ. He describes that I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, and all people, nations, and languages to serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. The interpretation of the beast vision. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit, in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of the things. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. Then I would know the truth of the four beasts, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes, and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them, until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. And the 10 horns out of his kingdom are 10 kings that shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and he shall be given into his hand until the time and times and the dividing of the time. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom of the dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Hitherto is the end of my matter. As for me, Daniel, my co cogitations have troubled me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart. Okay. Fortunately, I have to walk away for a little bit, but we will continue with another stream today, and yeah, we will return soon. So this last one was four beasts, 10 horns, and the fourth kingdom will take all of the kingdoms and gypsify them. And 10 horns or 10 kings which shall arise, and it talks about how foreshadow of what Jesus will be subject to. People will attempt to take away his kingdom, but he doesn't know that his kingdom is not of this world, but rather of the Father's. Or they don't know, sorry. They don't know that the kingdom is of the Father's and not that his, well, of the Father's, not of this world, I mean. So, Father, may your kingdom last forever, your glory and power be everlasting too. Amen. Yeah, I think this is a good uh, time to take a break. I will return, but I have to go for a moment. But this is not a goodbye, and it's not a thank you for watching just yet, because we still got 8 chapters to capture in the next stream, which will be today. But thank you so much, everybody who's so far here, Metro and Weston, and everybody else who joins in. Thank you so much. I will not call an end to this until we read the whole book of Daniel. But yeah, we're just taking a break. I'm about to end this stream, but the next stream will be later in the day. I'm not sure at what time, but I will indeed be live again. So If anybody wants to watch then, I'd probably say at, I don't know, 4:30 to 5 is when I'm going to start. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But we'll pause it from here and we'll take it on later on.